Hi, thanks for stopping by my channel for a visit today. I'm so glad you're here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than my other videos. This is not an update video. It's not a tutorial, but it is going to be a video about some of my favorite stitching tools. It is by no means all of my favorites, but just a few that I thought you might be interested in hearing about. My first item that I cannot live without is called Mag Eyes. These have been a lifesaver to me. I have horrible vision. I wear glasses, I wear contact lenses. I still need my Mag Eyes to stitch on counts 36 and higher. So when you purchase the Mag Eyes, they come with two different lenses, a 2 and a 4. You can purchase additional lenses to go with it if you need a higher magnification. I will show you how I wear mine, how it works for me. They are very lightweight. They just slip on. This is adjustable so that you can look down at your stitching and still look up and have everything in focus at a distance. To go along with that, my next item is an light. It's called the LED cone clip-on lamp. It looks like this. It is a standard plug. I'm not sure if they have them battery operated or not. Excuse me. I purchased mine at Joann's probably a year ago. They happened to be on clearance at my Joann's. However, I did look on the Joann's website. They are still available on the website. For a normal retail is $50, but right now they're at 50% off, so about $25 for that. I clip that directly onto my floor stand. I also clip it onto my Lowry stand. The next item that I'm going to show you is something that I saw, gosh, maybe 2 years ago. Stitching May here on FlossTube was showing it. And I immediately messaged her and said, please tell me, where do you find these? I highlight my patterns. I make a working copy and I highlight that. I was always worried that I would be clumsy and drop my highlighter while it was open and it would get onto my project. So I thought these were the answers to my worry, and sure enough they were. I keep mine in just a little pencil case. They are called Koh-i-Noor dry highlighters, and they come in 6 colors. And I will see if I can get this to focus so you can see how it's spelled. I purchased mine on Amazon for around $11. Okay, my next item is a product called Max Silicone Ear Plugs. I purchased the ones that come in a little case like this. This is what they look like. Let me see if I can, here, I will take that out so you can see the, whoops. Look at this. They're very sticky. This is what it's called. And I have it turned around the wrong way. So sorry. I use this in place of the Thread Heaven or Thread Magic, and I purchased mine at Walmart somewhere around $4 or so. I put mine in a new contact lens case that looks like this. I also purchased these at Walmart for, I don't know, $5 or $6. I think it came in a set of 6. But what I do is I put one batch of it in one side and one batch in the other side. For the left lens case, I use that side only for light colored threads, white, ecru. For the right side, I use that for the dark colors, L for light, R for dark. And I don't condition every strand of thread that I stitch, but when I do need it, this is what I use. Okay, next up, floss away bags. Cannot live without these now. I used to bobbinate all of my DMC. I've never bobbinated my fancy floss, but I used to bobbinate every single skein of DMC. I am so happy that I went to the floss away bags for a couple of reasons. Time. I was so tired of winding bobbins. So I came up with putting everything, DMC, Gentle Arts, my silks, everything into floss away bags. Now, I made a card for each one of mine listing the color name and the maker, and that is time consuming. However, you only have to do it once. With winding bobbins, when you run out of that color, you have to wind another skein on there. I just was like, I don't have time for this. And I didn't like the messiness of just using skeins of floss. What I do, I pull all my threads for my project. I thread a needle for each color and I slip it into the back of the bag. When I am finished with that project, or when I'm working on that project, let's just say that I need, I have 3 stitches of chalk color, and I stitch that. I'm, further down in the design, there might be a few more stitches. I just drop that needle back down into the bag, still threaded, and it's ready to go when I need it. When I'm completely finished with the project, I do take the needle out of the bag, but I put the used bits, if there's a usable amount, back into this side of the bag. That way, when I get ready to use that color again in another project, I see, oh, I have a piece to use up before I go get some off of the card. So I purchased mine in bulk, the 100 count, and you can get them in a variety of places. I think 123 has them for around $7 or so. The other bonus is you can put the bags for a project on a ring and keep them all together, instead of having to have a plastic box of bobbins. I feel like this is a little more space saving, for me anyway. My next product that I really like, and I have a variety of them, and they are needle cases. The first one that I'm going to show you is by Art Bin. It's a Slimline Magnetic Box. I purchased mine at Joann's for somewhere around $6. I have a few of these. There is a magnetic strip in here. What drew me to this is that I could keep my scissors, my needle minders, my needles, a variety of needles in here all together. However, I do like the smaller cases as well. Oops. Here's one that I purchased. I think it's called Little Needle Keeper by Yarn Tree. Came in a package looking like this. I think 123 Stitch has these for around $2. The other type that I like, this is by Dritz. I purchased these at Joann's. I have several of these as well. One2three has them for $5.69. Joann's regular price is around $7. Use a coupon. Now, the premise of these, and I didn't bring an open one in here, is the same as this. This is by Prym, P-R-Y-M. I bought this in England when I was there. You just shake it and your needles come out like that. I wish I could find these here, this size in the States, because I love the smallness of this, just to slip it into my project bag and I'm ready to go. The other thing that I do like, it's a little bit more decorative. I like to find things and repurpose them. So I look for pillboxes. They are not magnetic. However, you could put a little magnet down in there. My needles are magnetized, so they do sometimes stick to the top of the lid. But I keep a variety of needles in these and keep it at my stitchy spot. This type I put in my project bags with my projects. This not so much. This is just at my stitchy spot to look pretty most of the time. That brings me to my next favorite. It's called a Snag Nabbit. I know you all have heard of this. It comes in this little plastic sleeve, and I was just so worried that I was gonna drop it on the floor and not see it, you know, something happened to it, lose it down on the sofa, side of the sofa, sit on it. And then I thought, duh, put it in one of these. So this particular one, this pink one, is only for my Snag Nabbit. And you just, again, see if I can pull it out there. And for those of you who don't know what this is, it's a fabulous little tool. It is very pointy on one end and very rough on the other. So if you have stitches that are loose in your piece, you can stick the pointy end down in the corner of the stitch, pull it all the way through, and it tightens the tension of your stitch. It also works very well if you have tails that come to the front of your stitching, and you do the same thing and it makes them magically disappear back into the back. So that's a great little tool to have, and I thought a fantastic way to keep it safe. Now, speaking of needles, I have 3 different kinds of needles that I absolutely love. For years and years, I used only John James. My favorite John James are the petites. I have small hands. They just seem to work better for me. My next favorite would be Bowen, in a variety of sizes, depending on what fabric I'm stitching on. I happen to be just showing 28s today. For fabric that is 40 count and above, my absolute favorite needle is by S. Thomas & Sons. It is actually a ballpoint embroidery needle, but it is the same. I mean, it's a tapestry end. It's a blunt end. But it just glides. It absolutely glides through your fabric on the 40 count or higher. These, for me, were difficult to find. I don't have an L&S. My nearest L&S is about 4 hours away. I know that they do carry them in some L&Ss. I heard Kindred Stitcher, Lisa, mentioned that she had purchased some at Acorns and Threads. So maybe they are readily available in your L&S. But I buy mine online at a fabulous shop called Amy's Golden Strand. Great price, absolutely fantastic customer service, and I can't say enough good things about Amy's Golden Strand. Just superb. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? I think just one more thing for today. Counting pins. There's a variety of places that you can get counting pins. You can make your own. I've done that. You can buy handmade ones off of Etsy and eBay and I don't know, maybe your L&S. I don't know. My favorite thus far is just another button company, Just Pins, and they look like this. And they're not very long. They retail for anywhere from $12 to probably $17 or so. They're kind of expensive for what you get, but they're so cute. And I do use them as counting pins, but I also use them just as decorative pieces for my pin cushions. I've had a request to show how I use them as counting pins. It's really not difficult. It's probably more difficult to explain than it is to show you. So I will, at the end of this video, insert a clip on how I use them to count my place for anyone who is interested. Like I said in the beginning, this is by no means all of the things, all the tools that I use, but these happen to be some of my favorites. It does not cover my hoops, my frames, my floor stands, my lap stands. Maybe I'll do another video separately on those someday. I'll try to talk my son into helping me video so that I can show you how they look when sitting to stitch. But we'll save that for another day. If you have any questions on anything that I have shown you here today, please don't hesitate to ask. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you have a question on where you can purchase something, I've tried to give you where I purchased most of this stuff. Like I said, I don't have an L&S, so all of my shopping is online these days. Or at Joann's or Hobby Lobby, but we know that they have a very limited supply of stitching things for us. But anyway, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I will try my best to answer. And until then, I hope you're having a wonderful stitching week, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye for now. Okay, let's hope that I can do this without bumping the camera too much. Okay, so we have our project. We have our counting pins. Let's say you're working on a project that has spot motifs, and they are quite a ways away from one another. Or you're working on, a regular project. You have stitched one area, but you feel like stitching over in a completely different area, and you don't want to wait to work your way over there. How I do it, and I'm sure that there are many different ways to do it, but how I do it is I've completed my motif here. My next motif is going to be over here. Could I just take my needle and count? Of course I could. But I'm horrible at that because I'm like, I get interrupted. Then I think, was I on 22 or was it 23? So how I do it is I count and mark by fives. So let's say my next motif is 26 stitches away. So I'm going to first count and put a pin in at 5. My next one's going to be 5 more away. I'm going to pull this one out. I know I have 10 there. Five more. I'm at 15. I'm at 20. I'm now going to pull the 10 out. Now I'm at 25. I need to go to 26. I'm going to pull this one out. I'm going to mark my 26 one row above where I need to be. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out. I'm going to get my needle. I'm going to remember that I'm one row above where I need to be. And I'm going to start my next motif. Okay? Could you do this with regular pens? Of course you could. Oh, sorry. Let's say you're starting here and you want to count down 11. Put a pin in here. Another pin in here. I only brought 2 of these, so I'll go ahead and pull this one out. I'm going to start, this is my 11th one. I'm going to put it one below. Or you could just remember that's 10 and 11 is one below it. Since I'm kind of out of frame here. It's really that easy. You can use regular straight pens, no problem. I just happen to like the counting pins. They're cute. It's something different. Like I said, I'm sure that other people do it completely differently than I do, but I leave my pins in back here until I'm at an even number, That way I know that if I've lost track, I can count by 5s and 10s of how many pins I have and start from there instead of starting all the way back from the beginning. I hope that makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to be back again, maybe over the next few days, and if I can figure out how to get my camera set up so I'm not bumping it so much, to do a Stitch With Me video. Until then, bye for now.